Hello and welcome to the Coronacast comedy show. If this is the first time you are tuning in, this is a show where I, Deliso Chaponda, stand-up comedian who, like most of us, has been affected by COVID, particularly for someone in live entertainment, does not really have the career that I used to have. I do the occasional show on Zoom and one or two social distant things, but most days I'm alone sitting at home in a kitchen. So I perform to you. I perform to you, people of YouTube, people of Twitch, people of Facebook. Hopefully bring a few laughs into your life. Hopefully you bring a little bit of support for my endeavors. You can become a Patreon. There's a link either on that side or that side. I can't see it. Patreon.com/DelisoChaponda. You can become a member for up to £1. Tip me like a stripper, okay? I'll shake in your face. I'll shake in your face. Or you can just enjoy the show for free, laugh, and remember me when life resumes. Come watch me at a live show somewhere. Okay, so today was a busy day. Oh, a little bit of a crackling sound. Okay, so Sean Alexander says there's a bit of a crackling sound. Are there other people who are getting this crackling sound? Should I attempt to fix it? Okay, I've turned down the sound a little bit. Okay, does that solve the crackling sound? Before I keep going, let me know if you are getting the crackling sound. Let me know if you're getting the crackling sound. Is it still streaming? How are we doing? Am I talking to myself? Am I talking to myself? Did I lose everybody? Oh dear. Nope, they're 23. How are we going? Are we still going? Okay, good. We're back. I hope the crackling sound is still here. I'm not sure what to do about it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I will just attempt to hopefully you can just play with the sound, and I will keep going. I'm doing what I can. Okay, but let's get going. Today's episode is a little bit different. I had no time to do a full writing session today because I thankfully had a company which I was doing a Zoom call for, and so I was preparing for that, and then I performed that. It was like a Black History event. And so now I was like, well, what can I do with not a lot of time? And I realized that it might be interesting to do a little bit of writing on screen, take you through my process of turning jokes into routine. So because I've done a few Zoom shows this week, I actually get a sense of which jokes I've written recently which are funny because there's laughter. When I do it in the Coronacast, hopefully some people put LOLs and so on and so forth, but I'm never fully sure if it's funny or if I've just found one person in my audience with my sense of humor. So whenever I do a live show by Zoom or social distancing, what I do is I take account of the ones which got big laughs, and then the next step is to turn a joke into a routine. Now, if you aren't sure about what that is, let me show you. So you see, this, people, is how I write my touring shows. Oops, can you see that? Right? So what you've got is, I have like a spider diagram, which is got subjects and then multiple jokes on the subject. So I usually start with one joke which is great, and then I'm like, okay, I've got a great joke, I need to elaborate on it, turn it from a 30-second or 1-minute joke into a 5-minute routine with many sort of looking at that angle. One of the most successful versions, probably my most viewed video on YouTube right now, it's called The Scale of Hate, and it started with one joke, which was a joke about how Katie Price got in trouble for saying the N-word when she was quoting someone, and I made a joke about that. It did really well. So then I started adding and layering more and more jokes until it became probably like a 10-minute routine. And so that's what we're going to be doing today on the Coronacast. I've got a few subjects which I have started to elaborate on. I've got one great joke about them, and I'm going to do that joke, which some of you may have heard if you've been watching me recently, and then we're going to try and make live and on air further jokes, further explorations of it. Now, for each one, I will try to come up with 5. And if even one of them is good, then I'm well on the way to making a routine. So the failures are part of the process. In between all of that, I will, of course, be in the chat, take a look at what you are saying. Hey, hello to everybody. Somebody says I have another electronic device nearby that could be causing the crackle. Okay, unless it's the iPad, but I hope it's not that. Well, anyway, let's get started with the show. I don't see anything else that could be causing the crackle. Let me turn off my phone, but I doubt it's the phone. Could just be that I have an electric personality. Okay, so let's get started. So first off, ladies and gentlemen, you can choose which one I should do first. Okay, you can choose which one I should do first, ladies and gentlemen. There is a joke which I did recently, which is on the subject of politics and entertainment. Okay, there's a joke that I did recently which is about benevolent prejudice. There's a joke which I've done recently which is about fetishes, right? And then there's a joke which I've done recently which is about prison, and there's a joke which I've done recently about divine retribution. So which of these would you like me to expand into a routine first? Put your votes in the chat. Put your votes in the chat, and we're gonna get started. There's a bit of a delay, so the first person who lets me know will be the one that I do. So put your things into the chat. Okay, we've got one vote for politics and entertainment from Facebook. Okay, so let's get started. Now, this is the first time I'm trying to do this, so let's see if it works. Okay, so over here, I have got the first topic, okay, and I will write politics. I hope the text is big enough. Politics and entertainment. Okay, here we go. So we've got politics and entertainment. I think I need to make the font a little bit bigger. Not that you guys are watching for the font, but let's make it big enough. Okay, there we go. So the joke which works, the joke which I did which works, is basically I got a little bit irritated during the when BGT did a dance. They did a dance. They did a dance which had a bit which was talking about BLM. I got irritated. People got upset because they were saying, hey, there's no place in the entertainment program for politics. We don't want any politics in this entertainment. People are saying that, oh, we hear about politics all the time. We just want to break talking about like if politics is flashing them, like they're walking down the street and like people are jumping out of bushes and saying, equality for all, right? It seemed so absurd to me that they were so bothered by people even mentioning or bringing up the idea of injustice and prejudice, right? And the joke which I wrote recently was I was thinking that these people, they need a kind of warning, right? They need a warning, which is something like, the following program has scenes in which members of a minority group or a different gender from yours are treated as though they are equal, right? So that was sort of the initial idea what I handed, but then I was like, there are other things which I could elaborate on it, right? So if I was doing this as I do this, right, I actually, we need some quick typing, okay? The first angle would be a warning, okay? And usually I try to have 5 angles. So maybe another angle would be people want to schedule, yeah? So they want to schedule. They want it to be on schedule. They want to know when they're going to have to think. They want to know when they're going to have to feel guilty or feel angry. They want like a schedule for politics. I equally want a schedule, okay? I would like an injustice schedule. You can have your politics schedule if I know all the moments when racism is going to come. Because you see, racism, it just surprises me, right? I'm having a good day, I'm walking down the street, and some drunk person's like, oh, nigga. And I'm just like, oh, damn it, I wasn't expecting that racism. I wasn't in the mood for it. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't steeled. You need to have your racism on your schedule, and we can have our discussions about racism on a schedule. You know what I mean? Like I never expected. Like once in a while, I'm going down the street, a policeman says hello, and it could be a nice hello, could be just a policeman who is just checking that I'm safe, a policeman who is a fan, or sometimes it's just a bunch of weird questions about what I'm doing in the area, which are apropos of nothing, which white people are not getting, and I'm like, oh, that racism just came. I wasn't expecting it. So if you can put racism on the schedule, then I equally would happily schedule my outrage. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. Okay, what else? What else, ladies and gentlemen? What else? Before we keep going, oh no, let's do the whole section. Okay, what else about politics and entertainment? I think there's also a fact that people feel like they have to agree. Agreement would probably be the third one. Actually, this is probably too small for you to see, but if you see over there, I've added warning, time, and agreement, right? People feel the need to agree with people. So this is why a lot of people seem to be upset at J.K. Rowling. People who love her art, and then they realize that she has some opinions which they disagree with, opinions which surprise them. And they go so far as to say things like, someone was going on about how J.K. Rowling is evil. Evil? I was like, evil? You have got a low threshold for evil. Maybe say wrong or someone I disagree with, but evil? Evil? Pol Pot was evil, okay? Pol Pot was evil. Like Adolf Hitler, like Stalin possibly was evil. It's a very long way to go from, oh, lady who gives a lot of money to charity but I disagree with, to evil. But okay, you think she's evil, right? And I started thinking about people who I admired who had some surprising views, right? One of the most surprising was Prince. You know the singer Prince, the amazing singer Prince. Would you know that he had some right-wing views? He was against same-sex marriage and was once quoted saying, God came to earth and saw people sticking it wherever and doing it whatever, and he just cleared it all out. He was like, enough, which made one thing, right? I've got to say, though, every time I heard this, I was like, Prince, look at yourself, right? Take a look at yourself. Listen to your own lyrics. Of all the people who would be against same-sex connections, Prince, you are running around on stage in high heels, singing and dancing. It was just one of the most absurd ones, but I still love the music. I didn't think he was evil. I just thought it was odd, right? So that's one of the other things, right? And then the other thing is with the agreement. Maybe we can add another thing where people think buying it means you support it. Buying it means you agree. Okay, wait. Buying it means you agree, right? Buying it means you agree. So, for example, buying it means you agree. I had somebody, I ordered the Ichabod, which is J.K. Rowling's new kids book, for my niece. And I had this friend very angry with me because he said, by buying that book, you are condoning everything she believes. And I was like, I didn't know buying something means you condone everything that person believes in. Because that would mean that every single one of you who buys my DVD, right, agrees with me that ballerinas are sent by Satan. Look, okay, I was trying to improvise some really absurd view. If I was doing this in a comedy club, I would have come up with a few. Maybe we believe that what's an odd political view that I could realistically have that some of you would have a problem with? I feel that what's this? I don't know. I believe that the Rotary Club are trying to take over the world or something. But anyway, so that's that. And let's do a final one because I usually go for 5. So let's do a final one on politics and entertainment, which is probably that politics itself, real politics, is too entertaining now, right? Because if you actually think about it, one of the problems right now, I don't know how I'd make it a joke, is that people like Trump is entertaining, right? He's a nutter. He's entertaining. entertaining, right? Boris Johnson does things sometimes and says things which are entertaining. I do not want to be entertained by my politicians. I want them to bore me. I want droning on and on that makes me go to sleep. I do not being entertained by politics is very worrying, right? We don't want our entertainment there. Separation of church and state. You know, these people who want to separate racism, or no, people want to separate politics and entertainment. I want to separate politics and entertainment. But in a different way from them. I want my politicians to be less entertaining. A lot of them are better comedians than I am. Okay, let's keep going. Let me take a look at the chats. Okay, so Sarah Hall says jokes about fetishes. We might do that next. Prison sounds fun, says Mr. Doge. I assume you're saying me doing jokes about prison sounds fun, not actually going to prison sounds fun. Okay, how else are we doing? Hey man, says Identity Secret. Why didn't I do more stand-up? Identity Secret, what do you mean? Why didn't I do more stand-up? I do stand-up every day, all the time. It's my job. If you have only watched one clip of me doing stand-up, just go to your YouTube browser, put in Deliso Chaponda, and you will find many other instances of me doing stand-up. Okay, here we're going. What are we doing? Sarah Hall, you nearly spat out your tea with the Prince jokes. That is very good. I think that joke is gonna work. Rui Fernandez says basically people consider artists of any area socialists, and it's just a social fact just because they usually defend equality in everything. This is sort of true, but the only thing is people don't realize that a lot of entertainers never mention their politics and they just make assumptions. Nobody knows what Michael McIntyre's political views are because he's talking about ketchup bottles and doors opening and closing. Nobody knows what certain singers' views are because they're just sing. Nobody knows Mr. Tumble's politics, right? Because a lot of entertainers just keep it private. Okay, anything else? You like the politicians being funnier than me, LOL, Sean Alexander. It is true. Hello, Hamim Double D. You're very, very welcome. Big fan from Bangladesh, and I assume because your name is Hamim Double D, you are very, very big. I don't know if you're referring to the size of your breasts with your title Hamim, but in your mind, that's the reason. Okay, let's move on to the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Let us try to develop a routine about fetishes. Okay, let's try to develop a routine about fetishes. So let's start with the source. Welcome. Hello. Chelsea is back from the world. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be aware that Chelsea is now a TikTok star. If you are on TikTok, you should be following Chelsea Hart. Chelsea Hart is me. Yeah. Chelsea Hart is me. TikToking away, killing it. Okay, but anyway, now we're going to talk about fetishes. I did one joke which was very successful in my Zoom show, which I've decided I want to elaborate on and develop into a routine. And this was about a thing called ahegao, which I came across. Well, I didn't come across it, but I randomly discovered that there is a fetish of women sticking their tongues out and making their eyes cross-eyed, like, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I watched it and I kind of liked it, right? And I realized this is something I did not want to know about myself, because it means the next time I'm in a relationship, there's going to be a moment where in the bedroom I'm going to be saying like, this is all very nice, but is there something you could do for me? And she's like, oh, what do you want me to dress up in a nurse's outfit? No, not that. Okay, what, do you want to spank me? No, not that. Could you stick your tongue out and make your eyes kind of cross-eyed? I'm going to have this conversation. Maybe it's better not to know what your fetishes are. So that's the first joke. I want to expand on it. Okay, so why don't we do this together, ladies and gentlemen? One of the first things I'm going to do is I am going to Google weird fetishes, right? And see if we can find any others that would merit joking about. Okay, here we go. We found a website called 20 Bizarre Sexual Fetishes You Never Knew Existed. Okay, things like agalmatophilia, the attraction to inanimate objects. Okay, Abasiophiliacs are into leg braces or orthopedic appliances. Tripsolaganiacs are aroused by having their hair shampooed.
What?
And I think if anybody's fetish is really long words, this is the website for them. So let's see which of these is the funniest one for me, because I wouldn't talk about all of them. That would bore the audience. I'll just find one which is the weirdest. So one of them here is formicophilia, which is being aroused by insects crawling on you. These insects can be placed on any part of the body, and it can apparently be stimulating for both the person putting the insects on their partner and the person being crawled over. Can you imagine if you're dating a formicophiliac, right? Wouldn't that be a constant fight because you're in the kitchen and you're just like, there are cockroaches in the kitchen again, and she's like, oh yeah, can you grab that cockroach and put it all over me? Like, no, we need to get rid of these damn cockroaches. Okay, I don't think that's going to be it. Okay, what other ones are there? Next one, agalmatophilia. Agalmatophilia. Who names these damn things? Okay, that is sexual attraction to statues.
What?
Yeah, people who are sexually attracted by mannequins, statues, and everything else human-like that doesn't move. That would be.
Some of them are pretty fit.
Some of them are pretty fit. I think we've discovered an agalmatophilia yak over here. So if you ever want to turn Chelsea on, just freeze.
When I get desperate enough to no longer be attracted to people.
When she gets desperate enough not to be attracted to people, she's going to move on to statues.
Yes.
But it must be a cheap date. Must be a cheap date. Just take them to the museum, right? Show them a few statues, right? Also, they must have been really frustrated. You know when in Bristol they took that Edward Colston statue and threw it in the river? There was probably one agalmatophiliac who was like, but that was the sexiest statue. I used to go there every day. How could you throw it in the river? You should have just given it to me. Okay, so maybe agalmatophiliacs. Okay. Oh, Tricky Fun says, since I'm Greek and many of those words derive from Greek, philia means friend of, agalma means statue, lagnia must mean lust. Oh, so it's just the Greeks. Because the Greeks are the dirtiest people they were. I mean, their Greek god Zeus was just pouncing on women everywhere. He did not know what consent is. You cannot just appear towards a woman as a swan and then suddenly be on her, going up and down. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Greeks crazy.
Yes, they are.
Okay, next up, let's see if any others. Okay, nebulophilia. Arousal caused by fog.
What?
People turned on by fog.
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 What?
I gotta tell you, I can't see what turns people over by that. Oh! That is an old school joke! Old school joke! Now that is a joke which is so bad that it's good, which is why...
That was spectacular.
It was spectacular, okay.
Was spectacular.
Then we've got oculinctus, fetish of eyeball licking.
Fucking what?
Allegedly, certain parts of the eyeball are extremely sensitive.
What?
Making for a pleasurable experience. We cannot judge, Chelsea. Have you had your eyeball licked?
No.
You know what I mean? So how do we know, right? This is the question though. Who was bored one day and decided to test the sensitivity of their partner's eyeball? Right? I don't understand where this comes from. There must have been a first date where I imagine it happened accidentally for the first time. Because I have so many questions, right? Maybe but how would you accidentally lick some... This is it. You're in a very dark room, right? In a very dark room, and this dude was trying to lick their ears. Yeah, licking ears. You know, someone nibbling on your ears is lovely. And it was a very pitch dark room, maybe a little drunk, and accidentally the tongue went on the eyeball. And he's like, oh, oops, I hit your eyeball accidentally. I was going for the ear. And the person's like, that actually felt quite good. Keep licking. I don't know. I don't understand how you understand that you've got this. So that's I'll do one more. Oh, ursusagalamatophilia is being aroused by teddy bears.
Yeah.
Which means there's at least one of you who's not watching this for me. You're watching for the panda. While I'm talking about all of this, I will say that we are in the golden age of fetishes, right? Because you can be into anything and you can find your tribe because of the internet. If you are into these things, I'm not judging you. If you're into eye licking, if you're into having sex with teddy bears, right? You are in a time where there are forums, there are websites. You can find other people like you. Could you imagine being into eyeball licking in ancient Greece? Accidentally, you'd have to keep making it happen. Like you'd have to accidentally spill some food on your wife's face and be like, "Oh, oops, let me get that for you. Don't touch your eyes. Let me lick it." I don't know. We're in the golden age, so it's a good time. It's a good time. Oh, Tricky Fun explains that Ursus is Latin for bear. I see. Hence that. What are you doing?
I've got some plants.
She's got plans. Did you see what's going on over here? Okay. Either way, I assume you're going to have a lovely time in Sudan, Senegal.
I'm going to Senegal.
Senegal?
What?
South Africa.
I'm not going out with a South African.
Oh, okay.
They're Saudi Arabians.
Saudi Arabians. Okay, well, have fun. Have fun. So.
I'm not done yet.
Yes. Okay, let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Pandaphiliacs are the asexuals of the teddy fanciers, says Jacqueline Boyland. Let's see how we're going. I am so black that I can trick my shadows, Sammy G says. I assume you think that's a joke. Good attempt. Try again. Okay, let's see. What else are we going on here? A lady in India licks eyeballs to heal people's eye problems.
Jesus Christ.
There was a line of patients. Is this true? Wow. Now, I wonder if she actually does think she can heal, or she's secretly one of these oculinctus fetishists, and she's just getting off on licking their eyelids. Okay, excellent. So, here we go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're about at 30 minutes. We're at about 30 minutes. So I've only done fetishes and politics and entertainment, and I didn't even fill out the little thing for fetishes. So fetishes, which is the best of the fetish jokes? Which ones do you think I should keep? We're looking for 5. Okay, so Ahegao was number 1. Number 2, I got a big laugh for the really corny one, so we'll keep fog. What else? Then I think, which one was funny? Which one was funny?
All of it.
All of it was funny? We just keep all of it? We just keep all of it? Okay. But let's say I was going to do a comedy club. I will only put in one. Which one do we keep? Maybe statues. I think statues is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I'll go with statues. We put in statues. Put your votes in. Oh, you're a fan from India, Gad Shamena. Good to have you in the house.
Namaste.
Namaste, says Chelsea to you. Okay. Oh, the fog one. Yes, a lot of people like the fog. And somebody liked the insects. I hope you liked the insects joke. Not that you're saying that you like insects. Not that I'll judge you if you're into that. And then my show is open to everybody. And Gade says namaste back at you, Chelsea. Okay. Let us open it. Politics and entertainment. Now, should I keep going? This is the thing. I have gone from having 60 watchers to 41. So I always think that when I get to around 30 minutes in, people start checking out and doing their own thing. So possibly I can postpone the next 2 to the next Coronacast comedy show. That actually might be a plan, because I understand people don't necessarily. I'm not a box set on Netflix. And giving me 30 minutes of your time is very, very lovely. I've got one vote saying please continue. I guess we could do one more. Okay, so which of the other jokes, things which have... so we've got benevolent prejudice. We've got prison. We've got divine retribution. Which one have we got here? Okay, so divine retribution. Okay, so I'm going to be trying to attempt to turn one joke into five jokes. Okay, so the one joke is a joke which I did yesterday on a Zoom call. There's this thing called Chops Comedy Club, and I tried out a joke about divine retribution, which worked really well. So let's try to make that one joke into five jokes. So the joke which I did was about how gay people, homosexuals, are blamed for a lot of weird things, right? So COVID was blamed by an American pastor on evangelists. Gay people are blamed by evangelists so much, right? 2016, homosexuals were blamed for earthquakes. Right? 2017, there was a UKIP politician who blamed homosexuality for floods. 2018, a person running in the American presidential race blamed homosexuals for the financial crisis, right? So the joke which I made yesterday was people are so terrified of homosexuality that actually I think that there is a missing opportunity where people who are gay should hold evangelists and people who are conservatively religious hostage, right? They should say, give us 10,000 pounds or we're going to bomb each other and cause pandemics and earthquakes and tornadoes, right? But let's expand that, okay? So we're starting off with the idea of hold them hostage. What are other angles I could maybe take? What I've got to think about is I've got to think about very famous divine retribution. Noah is probably the most famous, right? Noah is probably the most famous because he was the one told to get on a boat, okay? Told to get on a boat. And I always think, you know who I feel sorry for? We always hear about Noah, right? We always hear about Noah. But you know what it must have been really hard for is being Noah's wife, right? Because it's easy. It's easy to be a prophet because an angel appears before you and says, yo, I'm from God. You can tell by the wings. You can tell by the glowing, right? Please, the world's going to end. There's going to be a great flood, right? Get a boat, build a boat. And because you have seen the glowing angel, because you have seen the wings, you believe it. Can you imagine being the wife, right? You haven't seen any angel. All you've seen is your husband come home and say, I saw an angel. And the angel says, I should put all of our savings into building a boat. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You're like, maybe you should go see a therapist. No, I'm telling you, it was a glowing angel. They had wings. And it's just like, and then you've got your husband hammering away, sawing away, making a bow. All of your neighbors saying, what the hell is going on with him? And you're just trying to make it sound less insane. And you're just like, no, you know, he's joining a rowing team. But you're like, but we're in Galilee. We're in the middle of the desert. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Pay says, you know what they should do? Get on a boat and run away like Noah. That's why they take so much money for their boats. Okay, excellent, ladies and gentlemen. Let us go on to the next. What other angles could I do with divine retribution? It's a tough one, but it's something I definitely want to talk about because it's an interesting idea. There's probably also something in the fact that different cultures have had different ideas of God, right? So if you look at the Greeks, if you look at the ancient Greeks, since we were talking about Greeks, Tricky, ancient Greeks had this idea of very petty gods, right? They were almost a nuisance, right? You had to pray to them because if you don't, they were vindictive, right? They were petty. If you bragged and said you were more beautiful than them, they were liable to show up and turn you into a spider. Oh, no, sorry. Ariadne, it wasn't that she said she was more beautiful than Athena. She said she was a better weaver. She was a better artist, that she could make a more beautiful tapestry. Athena showed up, said, yo, I'm better at crocheting than you, bitch, right? And so he said, fine, let's compete. They competed, and actually Ariadne did make a better tapestry than Athena and said, I am the greatest. And so Athena punished her, kaboom, in your face, turned her into a spider, which is why spiders always make these elaborate webs, right? So that was the ancient Greek idea of God, and it was a petty God, a pettiness of gods. But amidst all of them, I always used to find that the one which I found very interesting is while most of them were very petty, right? Zeus just wants to get laid. Athena is always punishing people who think they're better than them. They all have these personalities, but amidst them all, Hephaestus was a god who liked humans, and so was constantly trying to help humans while all the other gods were just being selfish and petty. And I always liked the idea of this one god desperately trying to help us, desperately trying to stick fingers in all of the holes which have been opened by all the other gods. And I always thought that, I definitely believe in God, but I don't necessarily think that we understand the nature of God. And the more we think we understand the nature of God, the more wrong you are. If you think, a benevolent white bearded person, or if you think you don't know what it is. It's something beyond. But I always thought that wouldn't it be interesting if God is actually overwhelmed because humans keep creating more and more problems. It's just putting out fires all the time. It's like, I just need a break. I used to say Sundays are my day off, but I can't take a day off because you guys keep wanting to blow yourselves to oblivion. Okay, what do we have here? Conspiracy theory says, Sean Alexander, homosexual caused the floods to increase their boat sales. Anthony P says, the tapestry was a huge roast. Enjoy yourself.
Bye.
Off. Chelsea goes into the night looking somewhat hot. So enjoy.
Yeah.
Tear it up.
Yeah.
Let us keep going. Cobra Kai says he doesn't believe me. He's just a perv trying to get a look. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Susan Yanke says if he didn't have enough to eat, would he start to eat the animals? That's entirely true, actually. How, ladies and gentlemen, did all of them go in 2 by 2? What numbers came out? I bet there were a bunch more animals that existed before the flood that just got eaten on the boat. This actually sounds familiar. Some other comedian might do a similar joke, so I do not intend to steal the joke.
There was more than 2 of the animals that were for eating.
Really?
Yeah. So this is actually in the Bible. It's just like it's been carried on that was 2 by 2, but there was like lots of goats and lots of geese and blah 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 for the other animals to eat.
But could you imagine if you were the one brought in to be on the menu, right? And you're like, wait, but the lions are just 2.
Yeah, but they brought in like many of the sacrificial animals.
Wow. There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but it wasn't everything 2 by 2.
Ah, I see.
Most of them, but not everyone.
Tricky Fun has a joke. Hera tells her husband Zeus, I'll tell you something which is both bad and good. You have the biggest cock of all the gods. Why is that both bad and good, Tricky? Bye. Bye. Okay, let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go on to the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we have got... Before we go on to the next subject, what's the next subject? We can do one final subject. How many people do we have in the house? We are now down to 31. Here we go. Oh, Sarah Hall says, hi again, Chelsea. Good to have you in the house. And joke on the weight of the ship, says Anthony P. When they first went out of the boat, it was almost sinking, but when they came back, looking how high it rode on the water. Very true. Oh, and I have somebody asking, what is it like sharing a flat with somebody that attractive? You've got a fan. It's complicated. It's fun, but it's also complicated because I'm a man, I've got a brain, but I'm also a friend. So let's keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, bad and good is saying your brother has a smaller penis, Sean Alexander. That is very funny. Well, she had sex with all the gods, says Tricky Fun. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got divine retribution, prison, Benevolent Prejudice. You know what? Actually, we are now at 40 minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Benevolent Prejudice and Benevolent Prejudice Prison will open the next episode, and I'll probably will add another one as well. Okay, so thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Sarah Hall says I must have missed a lot of your messages. I had messages from you? Okay, I will check them out after this show. Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a total delight doing today's episode. I will be back. I will be back. Let me check if tomorrow is a day when I will be back. No, actually, if I am back tomorrow, it will be in a hotel room because I am doing a gig in Sheffield for students. Now, I'm not sure if I'm assuming this is still on. I need to double check and make sure that it's still on because I don't know if Sheffield students are the ones who are quarantined. But theoretically, I am doing a small gig for a bunch of socially distant students in Sheffield tomorrow. So you probably will then see me. Uh, Either way, I'll probably do a short broadcast from backstage or in the hotel, but it might not be at exactly 7. It might be later. Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. It's been the Lisa Chapanda. Adios, adios, adios.